Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Destination Wedding Podcast, the show that talks about planning a stress free destination wedding with our first hand insider tips, tools, and budget planning ideas, as well as the top destinations and the top rated resorts. This is Joe Leo, your host for today's show, brought to you by JBL Legends Travel, your romance travel specialists. JBL Legends Travel specializes in all-inclusive destination weddings in Mexico and the Caribbean, as well as on a variety of cruise ships. And those of you who have been listening to our podcast already know that a little over 11 years ago, my wife and I started our own travel agency and planned our own destination wedding. And since then, we've helped dozens of other couples plan their weddings and create their memories. If you're listening to this podcast, you're either thinking about planning a destination wedding and don't know where to start, or if it's even right for you, or you already started the planning process and realized how overwhelming it can be and how hard it is to find accurate and up to date information. In today's episode, we're going to talk about destination wedding contracts and why you need them. Welcome back to the Planning a Destination Wedding Podcast, episode number 3, Destination Wedding Contracts. Now, everybody gets a little nervous and very anxious when we talk about contracts. However, this is a very important aspect of planning your destination wedding. Why? Number one, it guarantees the date and time of the wedding ceremony at the resort, which is very important because everything else that we're going to do revolves around that date and time of the actual ceremony. Number two, we also need a contract to reserve the room block. This contract locks in the prices for the rooms we select. Otherwise, we're open to price increases, prices going up, the hotel's selling out of rooms. So it's very important that we lock in rooms and we lock in the prices. So let's talk a little bit about number one, the contract to reserve the date and time of the wedding. This contract is very simple and straightforward. It says you're getting married on the beach on Saturday or whatever day we pick at 5 p.m. And most resorts just simply require that we send this form back to them with all the information about the bride and groom and that we wire them a deposit, which is usually around $300, which locks everything in, and that part is done. Now we move on to number two, the room block, which is done almost simultaneously. Most hotels have a variety of rooms. The names of the rooms will vary from resort to resort, but they're basically the same. And what I mean by that is there's a standard room, which has a garden view or resort view, and these will be your least expensive rooms. And then there are the rooms with a pool view, rooms with an ocean view, rooms with a partial ocean view, and some resorts also have rooms that are called oceanfront. And those rooms are located right on the beach facing the ocean. Obviously, all of these rooms are going to have different prices. So when we reserve the room block, we reserve a mix of these rooms and let your guests decide what they want. And as I mentioned in an earlier episode, we always set the rooms up so that your guests can stay for 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 nights, depending on their schedule and their budget. As I also mentioned in an earlier episode, a lot of your guests are going to treat this like it's their vacation, and you're going to be very surprised how many of them are going to choose the better room and to stay for 6 or 7 nights. Now, the website that we put together for your wedding will have all the pictures of the different room types and prices for those rooms for the 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 nights. So they'll have all the prices and they'll know what the rooms are before they decide what they want. Now, the contract for the room block will in most cases require a $100 deposit per room, with the balance due approximately 60 days prior to the guest's arrival. The contract will also give us dates by when we need to release any rooms that we do not book. Um, we have to release them by a certain date, or we have to pay a penalty. Now, we monitor those dates very closely and we advise you when we need to release the rooms so that we don't have to pay any penalties and you don't have to worry about that. So, let's say, for example, we reserve 10 rooms and we can always add more later if we need them, of course, based on availability. You'll pay $100 per room, so that'll be for 10 rooms $1,000. This is your money. And as your guests make their reservations, they will pay a $100 deposit for the room they choose. Now, their deposit is refundable if they need to cancel for any reason, as long as they do it prior to the date when final payment is due. If it's after that date, then we need to get into travel insurance and those kinds of things, which we'll talk about in another episode. Now, the money that you paid to reserve the room block is your money. It's going to remain on your account until we do the final settlement with the hotel. And at that point, we can apply that money to your room or to other amenities that you chose during the course of planning the wedding. The rest of the contract will lay out how you qualify for a complimentary room, how you qualify for a room upgrade, and this is all based on the number of rooms that we reserve. It'll also describe in detail other amenities that the hotel will be giving you, like a complimentary welcome cocktail party, a semi-private dinner, maybe a complimentary massage at the spa for the bride and groom, and so on. All right, so you said that sounds a little confusing, and I agree with you. But that's why it's very important to have an experienced company like ours to handle these details, because we are experts in negotiating and navigating these contracts, and we take the stress off of you so you have nothing to worry about. Now, once the date is set, the room block is reserved, and the website with all the information is set up, we then put you in touch with the wedding coordinator at the resort so that you can choose the wedding package that you want. And you have some time to do this because in most cases, none of that even happens until 4 or 5 months prior to the wedding. But in the meantime, we can call and email the wedding planner and get answers to all the questions that you might have about the packages. Now, in the next episode, we're going to talk about choosing the wedding package that you want. And a lot of resorts give you some type of a basic complimentary wedding package when you book 10 or more rooms. But then there's add-ons, like you can choose from, enhancing the flowers, adding more decorations to the beach or the gazebo where you're getting married, the DJ, the photographer, the videographer, and so on and so on. But that's definitely a conversation for another episode, and where we can dive right into the variety of packages that are available. And that's it. We're done. So let's recap. First, we pick the date and the time for the ceremony. Then we reserve the room block and sign both of those contracts. Once we do that, we're ready to set up your website and spread the news to your guest list. And lastly, do not worry or get nervous about the contracts. We're here to help you, and we have your back. And that's why you have us on your team. It's a very simple process. We've done it 100 times, and we'll guide you through the through every step. In the meantime, as always, if you have any questions, give us a call at 732-831-5200 or go to our website, jbltravelgroup.net, and under the Services tab, you'll see a page for Destination Weddings. Or visit our brand new website, thedestinationweddingcouple.com. This is a brand new website which we just created specifically for our couples that are planning destination weddings. It'll answer a lot of your questions. It'll give you some great insights to some of your favorite resorts, some of our favorite resorts, which we hope will be some of your favorite resorts. And it'll also give you a form that you can fill out there to tell us a little bit about your wedding and to book your complimentary consultation. And once again, I know I've mentioned this before, but we do not charge you to help you with planning your destination wedding. We are paid by the resort, by the cruise line, by the hotels, and we do not charge you a fee on top of that for planning your wedding. So anyway, thank you for listening, and keep your eyes open, your ears open for episode number 4, which will be coming out next week.